this isn't over. Not by a long shot.
MacTavish to actual.
Soap, what's your position?
Have a click off the coast. Things are really heating up out here.
Hold tight. We're moving your way. On me.
Alright, someone's gotta explain to me how long it takes to get half a click off the coast of Verdansk, because Soap is still not here. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, what is going on? Today we're going to be talking about the missing content from Modern Warfare. One of the strangest mysteries that we have seen so far within Warzone, within Modern Warfare, and I would just say within Call of Duty in general. Literally one of the strangest things. Some of the things we're going to be talking about today were in the game and then got removed. They tweeted about it saying that they would be there soon. They're still not there. This content was in Modern Warfare before Black Ops Cold War got released, and yet is still, most of it is not in the game. It is one of the strangest mysteries I've ever seen as far as content goes, and seemingly nobody has an answer for it. And that's why I wanted to make this video. With the next couple of weeks being relatively slow, it could be a potential for it to happen in these next couple of weeks. But on top of that, I wanted to talk about where this was supposed to be released, why it is not released, and some theories revolved around all of that as well. But what I first wanted to do is look at what that content is, what has been put into the game, and what is still on that back burner. So without further ado, let's dive into it. So close to the end of the life cycle of Call of Duty Modern Warfare, there were a couple of bundles leaked inside the game. We first of all had the Shane Sparks bundle, which officially at this point has been released, but I want to put that with a preface that they never announced that it was coming out. Just one day it kind of dropped in the game. And at the same time, because of this bundle, they also released the Soykov, which is a pistol within Modern Warfare, a fully automatic pistol. It was a part of the bundle. So at that time, the Soykov, however you say it properly, got released. Now, at this time, there was also 3 different maps that got launched as well. The first was Kill House. This one remains in the game till this day. The other 2 are Alrav Air Base and Drainage. Now, the weird thing about those maps is that they were put into the game and like a day later were removed from the game with a statement being released by Infinity Ward. And that statement is this: we recently released 2 new maps to Modern Warfare, Drainage and Alrav Air Base, which were available in private match. We temporarily removed them as they aren't quite ready and need a bit more love before returning. We'll update soon on when they'll be back. Now, if you look at the date of this tweet, it was on April 12th, nearly 2 months ago at this point. Yet, we are still waiting to hear anything about these 2 maps at this point. When will they be coming? Why will they be coming? And what will they be there for? Because, well, Modern Warfare is already over a year old. Well, the weird part is that's not the only thing that has been added into the game that was then removed. First off, we had the CX-9. This was first put into the in-game menus, and then at one point it was able to be found within Warzone. You could pick it up and it was actually a relatively decent weapon. But lo and behold, they once again went and removed that. Now, there might be a little bit more to this one than meets the eye, because the other operator that I was talking about before is of course Soap MacTavish, like in that little cutscene that we saw at the beginning. Now, if you actually have a look at what's inside this bundle, one of the weapons that's in there is none other than the CX-9, which would make sense that when they release the Soap bundle, the CX-9's inside there. That is also when they release it as a weapon that you can unlock within game. Yet, we have no word as to when Soap is coming and when the CX-9 is coming either. But that wasn't the only weapon that this happened with. There was an LMG called the RAL LMG, and once again, this could be found on the ground in Warzone as ground loot, as probably a blueprint that would come out with a bundle, and then later removed with absolutely no word from Infinity Ward. So at this point, we have 2 unreleased maps, an unreleased operator, and 2 different weapons that were supposed to be in Modern Warfare and never really added. They were there briefly, but then once again, like I said, removed. So this leads us to a big question. Number 1, why aren't they released? Why is there completed content that is waiting to be launched that hasn't been? When was it supposed to be released? And the final question, and probably the most important one, when will it be released? Well, there's several theories here. The first of which is that there was actually supposed to be an extra season within Modern Warfare. Shane Sparks and Soap MacTavish would have been the two operators to come out that season. There was 3 weapons and then 3 different maps that would all make up another season. And since a couple of seasons within Modern Warfare were delayed, they ran out of time for that final season, and by that point, Black Ops Cold War was already releasing. And because of those delays and because of the release of Black Ops Cold War, they didn't want to take the limelight off of that game, so this content was simply never released. This is the theory that makes the most sense, and the reason for that is the cutscene that we saw right at the very beginning. This cutscene would have made sense to be the intro cutscene for that final season. However, because that didn't work, they just randomly launched it. Soap MacTavish hasn't been released, which would have made a lot of sense for him to come out in a battle pass with that cutscene, but lo and behold, that never happened. The next theory actually revolves around Modern Warfare 2, but not the next Modern Warfare game. I'm talking about Modern Warfare 2 Remastered. You may remember when that came out, the way that you got the game was by actually buying a bundle with Ghost in game, and upon doing so, it gave you an old school Ghost skin, but it also gave you access to Modern Warfare 2 Remastered and the ability to play that campaign. Now, one theory is that this new Soap bundle is going to do the same thing, but for Modern Warfare 3 Remastered, which does line up simply because of the fact that Soap was such a huge part of that game. I don't want to spoil it, but let's just say he has one of my favorite scenes and one of the saddest scenes ever in a Call of Duty game. But lo and behold, there hasn't been any leaks or really any hard evidence of Modern Warfare 3 Remastered being anywhere in the near future. The final theory that we have revolves around normal Modern Warfare 2, the next released game by Infinity Ward, and that Soap will somehow be a pre-order bonus for that game. Except the problem with that is really far in the future. You see, next year Sledgehammer is releasing a game, and it will not be a Modern Warfare game. The rumor is that it'll be a World War II game. Obviously, Soap is not going to be a part of that, so we're looking 2 years in the future for Modern Warfare 2. Now, there was a rumor that originally Infinity Ward and Sledgehammer were almost racing to get the next game done so that whoever finished first would have their game released next year. So it might be that Modern Warfare 2 or the next Modern Warfare game was actually pushed off, and that is why we haven't heard anything about Soap. Maybe it was supposed to be a pre-order bonus for that game, but now that is not happening. Now, each of these theories have small bits of merit that make sense. The first theory of the unreleased season makes sense because all of the content that would have came out would have fit perfectly into a season. The second theory lines up because it would explain why that Soap bundle and why the CX-9 have not been released yet. And then the final one just explains why you'd be waiting a really long time to get Soap released and it hasn't been released yet. And really what it comes down to is that being the weirdest part. The fact that it's been 2 months now since these things were in the game and then removed, yet we still haven't heard a peep out of Infinity Ward. That is the part that makes the least sense. So this leads us to our final question: when will this be coming out? And my honest answer is I don't think anyone knows. I don't think Infinity Ward knows. I don't think Activision knows. They might just be kind of waiting for a lull in the game, and that is why I bring this up now, because over the next 2 weeks we essentially have very little content coming out for Black Ops Cold War and Warzone before the launch of Season 4. So literally next week would be one of the best weeks for them to do so, because the week following that would be when they were starting to hype up Season 4. But again, every time these things are released, there is no word from Infinity Ward. They just kind of drop and everyone's like, oh look, there's new stuff here. But that is just, once again, part of that mystery. So to answer the question, I have no idea when this is going to release, or at that, if this is ever going to be released. So where does this leave us? It leaves us with 2 unreleased maps, 2 unreleased weapons, and 1 unreleased operator. Enough for at least half a season back in Modern Warfare. So when will it be happening? We don't know. Will it be happening? We don't know. And that is why I said from the very beginning, this is just a huge mystery. Now, I would love to hear what you guys have to say about this, what you think, what your thoughts are, if you have any theories as to when these things will be launched. But as far as I go, these are just things we know and a bunch of questions that follow. So hopefully I was able to clear some things up with this. If you enjoyed the video, it is always appreciated if you do hit that like button. It really does help with the channel. On top of this, if you're new to the channel, like what you see, want to stay up to date on everything Call of Duty, be sure to hit that subscribe button, turn notifications on. As I said before, let me know what you think down in the comments. And as always, thank you so much for watching, and until next time, peace out.
We are reaching for